All right, what is up, podcast? Long time no collab with my boy Noah Arni.
What's up?
And a lot has happened since we last collabed. So go ahead and tell me what you're up to right now. What's going on in your life as of right now?
Right now, working, trying to save up some money, training 5 times a week right now, and got 2 classes, finishing up, graduate in May.
We both graduate in May, so that's freaking awesome. I can't fucking wait.
I can't wait to be done with undergrad at least.
So you had your first powerlifting meet in December, beginning of December, or was it like middle December?
Yeah, December 8th or 9th, I think.
And before we start diving in, obviously you had a fucking great meet, very successful. Give us a summary of the numbers you hit at the meet.
So my total was 1,333. I had a 485 squat, 518 deadlift, and 330 bench, which were all PRs, like huge PRs.
Yeah, and a lot of people do not do that, especially their first meet.
Yeah, I was surprised for sure.
And I went to high school with Noah, and I've known that he's been strong for a long time. But I really want to bring you on today to help give maybe people who are thinking about doing their first powerlifting meet, or people who are interested in just trying to get stronger, some insight about your experience doing your first powerlifting meet, the prep, and maybe some advice and things they can do to help them get stronger. So
For sure.
have some questions here. So what do you feel like was the most effective part of your training and prep for the meet? And you can plug your coach too. I know he does a good job.
The most effective part was honestly the whole year leading up to my prep. I spent all but I think 4 weeks either maintaining or gaining weight in a surplus, higher volume, just looking to put on muscle tissue, because the problem with most powerlifters at an early age is that they just don't have enough muscle.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I put on a lot of muscle in my opinion. I think I went from like 173 to 196, and I competed at 198. So I put on a lot of muscle, and that transferred to a lot of strength.
And this is what I think about when you give that answer. So Max Tuning, very popular person on YouTube, powerlifter. He's really lean and kind of skinny, right? Mm-hmm. So I would agree with that, and I would think that if because he stays lean all year round, if he like put aside as much time as you did, being in a surplus and getting a higher body fat, he could excel more in the sport of powerlifting, because his PRs are very small increments. Like, granted, he has been lifting for a long time. Mm-hmm. But I look at people like that, and I do think that maybe if they jumped up a weight class, or at least in the off season, they could potentially be stronger in the future.
For sure, yeah, I agree. Like, people who try to stay lean year round are really hindering their progress, and both in strength and size. Like, if he were to take a true off season, I'm sure he'd probably make a lot more strength gains, even though he's strong. But he also has really good leverages. Like, his deadlift is insane.
Bro. He does sumo too.
Yeah.
I think he does.
I've seen him do both.
Yeah, he does. I've seen him do both.
It's very strong.
So when you started your prep for the meet, how long was that?
So technically it was 8 weeks total. I did a 4-to-1 paradigm, like just like general strength, sets of 5s and 4s, and then I moved into triples, doubles, and singles for 2 weeks after that, and then had like a taper week before my meet, like pretty much a deload. So it was only 8 weeks in total, and I didn't really start moving the heaviest of weights until 3 weeks out.
Okay. How did you manage your food intake throughout that, and your calorie intake?
I was just aiming to maintain. Honestly, I was weighing about 196 going into my prep, and I was competing at 198, so I kind of had some wiggle room if I were to gain a little bit of weight. So I tracked super loosely. I just had fun, and I ate a lot, ate enough to recover and feel good for my training, and it was impossible for me to gain weight at 196. It still is. So I didn't really take it I took it seriously in terms of my protein intake and like total calorie intake, but as far as like foods go and like tracking everything, I didn't do that.
I would think that's like most ideal though. You want to put most of your focus and stress on your training progress opposed
For sure, yeah. It was super nice to not have to worry about my body weight and just focus on my training and hitting it hard every session.
So when did you start training with kilo plates?
I actually didn't use kilo plates until my peak, which was the two weeks of accumulation and then like the taper, which honestly I was surprised at how different they felt, especially
really? I've never used them, so I don't know.
I mean, they're way skinnier than the plates we normally use, which I didn't think would have that much of an impact on how they felt.
It's like more compact almost.
Like bench press felt super off the first week, but then like I adapted to it super fast. Second week I hit a PR. But yeah, I mean, I definitely recommend if you're going to do a powerlifting meet to train with kilo plates before the meet so you know what they feel like.
What do you think the biggest difference is? Like just get it off the bar. Does it feel more compact? Because that's the difference.
So that was the thing with the bench press. I almost felt less stable with the kilo plates, but like squat felt super fucking good. Like
that's crazy.
It almost felt lighter than normal. It was just different for each lift. Deadlift felt better, in my opinion. Bench was the only one that kind of messed me up. I don't know what it was, but yeah.
And now you're hitting PRs with the regular plates. Hit 295 for 5 reps yesterday. I spotted him. That's
clean 5, yeah.
So, good question someone asked. So did you, like during your prep, did you experience any aches or pains that you had to deal with?
Not really until actually like a couple days before the meet, my lower back started acting up.
Oh no.
And I don't know. So I suspect that it was from deadlifting. I was training at the gym that I did my meet at.
Okay.
And their deadlift platforms there are kind of have like some divots in it. And I noticed when I pulled 500 for my single, when I pulled up, I kind of shifted to one side and then locked it out. And it was ever since then, that was like a week and a half out from my meet, my back was kind of feeling iffy. And then it decided it wanted to feel real shitty like a few days before the meet. So I was kind of freaking out. But other than that, like I had a little bit of elbow issues during my second to last week, like 2 weeks out. But I grinded through that. And then during my taper, it went away. So
with those issues like that, how would you like recommend someone trying to manage that through their prep? Is there a point that you should back off your volume or?
Yeah, I think it just kind of comes down to knowing how much volume you can handle and recover from. I maybe have been doing a little bit too much. I maybe could have pulled back a little bit and gotten the same result. But so like my bench press when I was having my elbow issues was like I had a 7x3 that day at like RPE 8, which was heavy and like pretty high volume, yeah. But I think just kind of for your first meet, I think you should be a little bit conservative because the last thing you want to do is like overtrain and get injured right before your meet.
Yeah.
So just kind of know your volume landmarks if you want to talk about that.
And I think that takes a long time to really fully. I still don't know mine, and I've been working out for 8 years.
Yeah, it takes practice. That's why I recommend like kind of staying conservative and not trying to overdo it for your first meet, so you can kind of learn. Okay, I recovered from this. I got a great result in the meet. Maybe I can do a little bit more, or just keep it the same. But if you feel undertrained, then definitely add more. Like just kind of learn from it, and definitely I was tracking everything like as far as numbers go, and I was even writing down like how sets were feeling and stuff, just so I can look back on that next meet I do and remember like, okay, this was too much or this was too little, stuff like that.
And because that was your first meet, I think it's super important. Like you were tracking your mesocycles and your phases even before you decided to start prep. So it's not like if you've never been tracking your volume and know what you've been doing prior to going into a prep for a powerlifting meet, then you're kind of going in blindly. So, I mean, I just feel like it's great to just make that a habit year round to just track your workouts. I've tracked
volume. Every set, every rep, every weight for the last year and a half now. So
what kind of belt do you use? Or do they allow? I'm not really
so
sure.
my parents got me just your basic 10 millimeter one prong belt. I recommend a lever belt. I love the lever belts because they fit much tighter. Like my waist was kind of in between two notches, so I couldn't get it super tight. But yeah, just a basic 10 millimeter belt.
Knee sleeves?
Yeah, I borrowed my buddy Alex's strong knee sleeves. I didn't use them for the first time until my prep about like 8 weeks out, and they made such a big difference in my squat. Like,
yeah, dude, I agree.
It shot up fast.
Feels good out of the hole. You feel a little bit more explosive.
Good.
So where did you get? I'm sorry if I don't know what it's called, but the powerlifting.
The singlet.
Singlet, yeah. Where'd you get that from? How much was it?
I only spent $30 on my singlet.
Okay, is that pretty cheap?
That's really cheap. Most are honestly twice that price. Like if you want to get a good name brand one,
yeah.
I found like some cheap. I think it was Strength Shop USA was the brand, just all black singlet for $30 because I'd already spent like almost $200 on other stuff between the gym week at the gym that I was training at, the meet, the t-shirt, other stuff like that. Yeah,
you're investing in wanting to do this.
It's a lot of money, yeah.
Do you know how much you spent total when you really added up?
It was probably right around $200.
Okay. So when did you start training with the singlet on?
Not till 2 weeks out.
You think that gave you enough time? Oh, you think that was bad?
I would wish if I could do it differently, I would have started training with it honestly like 8 weeks out, like my whole prep.
Okay, just to get used to.
Yeah, I mean I got used to it fast, but it does feel different, like training, because I normally train in like sweats and a hoodie versus just a singlet. It's a lot different. So yeah, you definitely want to get used to it if that's something you've never worn before.
Okay, so was there ever a point through your prep where you felt nervous if you're going to peak your strength at the right time? And if so, like, did you do anything to calm your nerves?
I never really got nervous. Training was going so well, I was just kind of rolling with it. I'd heard of people like peaking their strength too early and stuff, but this is one reason why I recommend having a coach, someone who can make those decisions for you and kind of see from like a different point of view. Because I trusted Jagger. He's a great coach and has done many powerlifting meets himself and coached many people into them. So I just kind of followed the plan. I was really surprised. I didn't get nervous at all until like the day of. I was like, oh, shoot.
That's good. I mean, yeah, that's, right before you go hit your singles, you got to have some type of adrenaline.
Yeah, if you're not nervous the day of, then there's something wrong.
Yeah, exactly. So was the environment of the meet what you expected?
It was more than I expected. Like, I'd been to a powerlifting meet before, and like it was a crazy cool environment being in the stands, but like actually competing in it was so much different than what I'd expected. I thought I'd be super nervous when I got up on the platform, like all those people watching me and stuff, but honestly, you just kind of zone out.
Yeah,
you don't
doing
even
what you've been doing.
You don't even see them. Yeah, all you're thinking about is hitting that lift, and then it's over like that. And it was so cool because I also had, you were there, I had like 9 other homies there.
Yeah,
so like
it's not like every day you got 10 of your friends watching you lift in the gym. So
I had a ton of support there, which made it like honestly one of the best days I've ever had. So it was super cool.
Yeah, even from a spectator's perspective, dude, it's pretty hype. Like overall, the testosterone in those rooms, it's insane.
Yeah, it gets pretty wild in there, dude.
So I know this is kind of and this varies from meet to meet. But how did you know when to start warming up? For how long? How long was it between each of your lifts? Because it seemed like it was quite a bit of time.
Yeah, that was Jagger's job to tell me when to start warming up. So he would have me start warming up when the flight before me started their second attempts.
Okay.
Or like at the end of their first attempts.
Because how do you explain the flights?
I'm trying to remember how many flights there were.
I think there were 3.
I think there were 3 flights, and they're just kind of split up evenly, and they go through all 3 of their attempts, and then the next flight goes through all 3 of their attempts. So when the flight before me was on their like second attempt or at the end of their first attempts, I would start warming up.
Okay. And that gave you enough time?
Yeah, it was plenty of time. Honestly, I could have started later, but I don't know, you just kind of want to be able to relax in between your warm-up attempts too. You don't want to rush your warm-up at all.
Yeah. So this, I feel like, is a huge mistake maybe that even people who have been to 3 or 4 meets still make. Just me watching. I'm not a powerlifter, but just me watching. How do you go about choosing your opener?
Your opener should be something that you have hit in training and that you know you can hit on that day. So your opener should honestly probably be like 6-7 RPE. Like, yeah, I'd say that's a pretty good recommendation. Like, it shouldn't be a question. Like, you shouldn't go up there and have a grinder for your first one.
Mm-mm.
It should almost be a potentiation rep for the next 2 attempts. So choosing the opener should honestly be the easiest attempt you choose out of anything, because it's something you know you've hit, something you know you can hit even almost on a bad day. You can hit it for a single. And then, but choosing the second attempts and then third attempts, like, it's trickier with each attempt.
And you could have a day that you are just simply stronger than another day.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, you know, at least you want to hit that first attempt clean, even for the mental aspect of it.
Yeah, no, that first attempt builds a ton of confidence. You get if it's your first meet, you get the experience of like getting out there and hitting an attempt in front of the crowd and for yourself. But I mean, yeah, just make sure it's something you know you can hit.
So what were you eating between your lifts, or just whatever? How much?
Junk.
Yeah, I saw the gummy worm or gummy bears.
Gummy bears. Junk to other people, but high glycemic stuff for me. Like, so I was sipping on Pedialyte and water just consistently throughout the whole meet.
Yep.
And since the morning I woke up, or like the morning of, when I woke up, I started sipping a Pedialyte. I had gummy bears I was eating between. So you want carbs, obviously. A little bit of fat is okay because you're gonna have plenty of time to digest it. But I just stuck with high glycemic carbs and protein. Like I had a few of those IsoPure protein shakes. Yeah. But yeah, that was it. Gummy bears, and what else did I have?
I saw the gummy bears. That's all I saw.
That might have been it. Oh, I had some Scooby-Doo snacks too.
Essentially, kind
my
of
faves.
So did you nap at all? I don't remember seeing you nap.
Like between lifts?
Yeah.
Oh no.
No.
I mean, you have about an hour between lifts, maybe a little bit more. But no, I didn't nap. I wouldn't. I was too in the moment.
Yeah.
I was
you
awake.
Pre
well,
too.
You got to remember.
Yeah. How'd you space your caffeine?
So, I had about 100 milligrams of caffeine between each lift, and then so I had about all right, I think it was 100 when I woke up. I had a cup of coffee, and then right before my first attempt I took another 100. Before my bench I took about 150 or 100, and then before my deadlift I took about 150 to 200. So like it's spaced. It was a lot. It sounds like a lot, but it was spaced out pretty evenly throughout the day just to keep my energy up the whole time.
Yeah, you don't want to take a scoop before the squats, your first lift, and then be crashed.
Yeah, get super riled up and then crash. No, you want to space it out evenly, and you don't want to. Don't take too much and get too hyped up and crash too early in the meet, because you want to deadlift. You want to be awake for your deadlift. Yeah.
What lift did you feel went best for you, and why?
So the deadlift was tricky. I wouldn't say that one went the best because my back, I was freaking out.
Yeah.
Jagger kind of kept me calm, but I was freaking out because my back, I woke up, it was still bothering me. It was crazy because the adrenaline, I literally I moved my belt down like an inch, and I went out there for my first attempt. I didn't even feel my back. So I was
like you moved it just down, like on your weight.
On the back, and I didn't even feel it at all. I didn't know if it was adrenaline or if it was a belt helping, or both. But it didn't decide to start hurting again until after my third attempt. So I was able to hit a huge PR. I hit 518 on deadlift despite having back pain that morning.
Yeah.
And didn't even feel it during my attempt. But the best lift overall for me was squat.
Yeah, I could have told you that from
the highest I hit in training was 474 for a pretty slow single. Like it wasn't a grinder, but it didn't move fast. And in the meet I hit 485, and that 485 moved faster than 474 in training. Like my 485 honestly could have been a first or second.
Looked like RP 7.5 in the meet. I'm dead ass here. We'll put it up on the screen.
Yeah, RP like 7.732, probably right around there. But it moved like a first or second attempt. Honestly, I think I could have hit 500 on that day, but we were being conservatives for my first meet, so I was glad with how it went.
Was there anything about the meet that you did not expect?
Anything I didn't expect? Not really. Just didn't expect how fun it would be.
Yeah, hey, that's a good thing though. So if you could do your first meet again, is there anything you would do differently?
Had my nutrition on point. Maybe would have done a little bit less volume
because of the back or
on
just
bench
overall.
And I couldn't tell if my lower back pain was from low bar squats or deadlifts, but I think the combination of the two might have been just a little bit too much. I maybe would have pulled back just a little bit on that, and then bench. My elbow was kind of bothering me, but that was gone after my taper, so I can't really say like I would have done that differently because I hit a huge PR on bench too.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I did everything I needed to do well on that day.
As well
like,
as you did.
I was sleeping at least 9 hours a night. I was eating good, eating a lot, just relaxing. So
stress levels were low.
Super low.
Because we were on break, no school. So.
Yeah, no joke. And that, I think the week before was finals week.
Yeah,
but
so you
I didn't have any stressful finals at all. So like, I didn't even have to study for it. So yeah.
Worked out, perfect timing.
It was perfect timing, yeah.
So when you, how do you know when, and this is advice I want you to give to those wanting to do a powerlifting meet, what would you say is, how do you know when you're ready to do your first powerlifting meet? Or if that's subjective, maybe there isn't a correct answer for that. But
if you're still a beginner lifter, I would not advise you to do a powerlifting meet, just because I feel like it'd be a waste of time and money for you to go out there and hit just very low numbers. Like, it may be fun, yeah, but if you're going to do a powerlifting meet, it's not cheap, and you want to get the most out of your money. Just spend time putting on some quality muscle tissue, building up strength, like at least list for 2 to 3 years before you even consider a powerlifting meet. Make sure that your numbers are somewhat high for you. I mean, obviously that's a relative term, but you don't want to go out there and kind of just embarrass yourself.
What organization? What was yours?
Mine was USPA.
Okay, is that pretty common?
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
That's probably the most common one, I think.
And that's no knee wraps.
That's,
well, I guess you can have raw. So, or there's raw, and then there's I don't know what the term is.
I'm blanking on what it's called.
Raw is what you did, right?
Yeah, I did raw, which is belt, knee sleeves,
wrist wraps,
and wrist wraps. And then the other one is the same, but you can have knee wraps, which are going to increase your squat by a little bit.
Yeah. So USPA. All right. What is the biggest piece of advice for people wanting to get into building strength? Getting stronger.
Getting stronger is all about intensity progression. So you need to be lifting more and more over time, just kind of how hypertrophy is with volume. Strength is all about adding weight to the bar. Stick to a rep range. Pick a rep range and stick to it for a little bit. So like there's no need, especially as a beginner or like someone who hasn't done a meet before, to like taper their volume, that typical linear progression. I just think that's going to be not enough volume, and like just unnecessary tapering of volume. So just spend a lot of time practicing your technique, first of all, because technique plays a huge role in your strength. It's not all about just
moving the weight.
Yeah, just moving the weight, because you improve your technique efficiency, like you're going to be able to move more weight just by improving your technique. So spend a lot of time practicing technique, building muscle, doing the comp lifts. So a couple weeks out from your meet, you should really only be doing the comp lifts. No other variants or anything, but depending on your strength level and experience, like, will kind of dictate when you start, how specific you are, how far out from your meet. But yeah.
So what was your training like post show, and why?
Post show, I did like
post
a little
meet.
Or meet, yeah. I did kind of a little hypertrophy, active recovery, whatever you want to call it. It was honestly the least amount of structure I've had in a long time.
I saw you using like a lot of machines. You weren't doing too many barbell.
I wasn't doing any of the comp lifts, and this isn't really something I'd recommend for everybody. I took 4 or 5 weeks off barbells completely.
Wow.
Just because my elbow was acting up again after the meet. I wanted to let my lower back heal, so I was doing all machine leg stuff, so like Smith machine squats, hack squats, nothing that required a lot of lower back, and it worked out perfectly. I'm all healed up now. So, but after a meet, you're probably super far out from another meet. If you feel burnt out on training, you can take like a little active recovery phase where train a few times a week, kind of have fun, enough to maintain your muscle. If you don't need an active recovery, I would ramp the volume up slowly, ease back into higher volumes. Don't try to go straight back into high volume right out of the gate. That's how you're going to get excessive muscle damage and probably get hurt. Just kind of ramp up, because you're doing pretty low volume going into a meet, so you don't want to go straight into high volume.
Probably catching some juicy pumps too.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, extremely good pumps. Cause
it's like training when you've been injured for months, and then you just like go in and do some curls, and you're fucking
I hadn't
blasted.
had a pump in like probably 8 weeks, my whole prep. I was doing curls and stuff to maintain, but like, I mean, they were heavier, like sets of 7 to 8.
You're not doing 12s, 15s.
No, yeah. There was some unreal pumps.
So what are your future plans for powerlifting?
Keep building that total, man.
You gonna do another meet? Like when?
Probably not anytime soon. I want to compete in the same meet again next December, but I also don't know where I'm gonna be.
Yeah.
Next December, I could potentially be somewhere far off in grad school. So we'll just kind of see.
Wherever it takes you.
I'm gonna do a cut for a while because I'm overweight.
A little bit pudgy.
I'm pudgy. I need to cut, and then I'm gonna spend another year. I feel like I still got some room to put on muscle, so I'm gonna spend another year doing that, and then look for a meet once I kind of get back up to the 196, 197 weight range. So
now, if there's one power lifter you could collab with to get a lift in with, who would it be?
Like any power lifter?
Anyone. Doesn't even have to necessarily be a power lifter, but someone you want to get a lift in with.
Damn.
I feel like I know your answer, but
probably Russ.
Yeah, I knew it. Yes, honestly,
Russ is my guy.
Yeah.
I love that.
Fucking tank, dude.
He's so strong, and I love watching his YouTube videos. It's so motivating.
Yeah,
and he just seems like a cool, humble dude. So
his gym swag is unreal too.
Oh yeah, he's got so much sauce.
All right, so that's gonna wrap it up. I hope that provided a lot of insight value. I learned a lot just sitting here talking with Noah, ask some questions. If you have any further questions for him, message him on Instagram. What is the Instagram?
It's Noah Arni _NSA.
NSA, yep. So if you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and leave it a 5-star rating. I appreciate you all so much. Let me know who you would like to see me bring on for a future episode. You all have a great one.